In this video, we will be discussing the Oxford Cleric. Now, Oxford is a famous university in England that has been around for a long time. And a cleric, your footnote tells us, is a student preparing for the priesthood. So our next pilgrim is an Oxford student who is supposed to be studying to become a priest. An Oxford cleric, still a student though, one who had taken logic long ago, was there. His horse was thinner than a rake, and he was not too fat, I undertake, but had a hollow look, a sober stare. The thread upon his overcoat was bare. Right away we have this typical student, right? This starving kind of college student. He's really thin, his horse is really thin, and his clothes are not new, right? They're very threadbare, very worn looking clothing. He had found no preferment in the church, and he was too unworldly to make search for secular employment. By his bed he preferred having 20 books in red and black of Aristotle's philosophy than costly clothes, fiddle, or psaltery. We find out in these lines what he is spending his money on, and that is books. The text tells us that he has 20 books in red and black by his bed. In the 1300s, right, this is when Chaucer wrote the Canterbury Tales, the printing press had not been invented yet. So these books that the Oxford Cleric has by his bed are very expensive. Right? And also notice, not only are they expensive, but what kind of books are they? Philosophy books. Here's a guy that is supposed to be studying to be a priest, so you would think he would have the Bible and other religious texts by his bed and be studying those. But instead, he's studying philosophy. So he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And on top of that, I mean, you can just imagine his poor horse, right? You can see the ribs of the horse because it's so starved, and yet here he is spending all this money on books. Though a philosopher, as I have told, he had not found the stone for making gold. Whatever money from his friends he took, he spent on learning or another book, and prayed for them most earnestly, returning thanks to them thus for paying for his learning. His only care was study, and indeed he never spoke a word more than was need. Formal at that, respectful in the extreme, short to the point, and lofty in his theme. A tone of moral virtue filled his speech, and gladly would he learn, and gladly teach. So the pursuit of knowledge is what is most important to this Oxford cleric, right? Not the pursuit of God, but the pursuit of knowledge. Is he a bad person? No. Okay. The only thing he's hurting is his poor his poor horse, which is very sad. So Chaucer would have him in the neutral category. He doesn't hold him in high esteem by any means, but he also doesn't really dislike him either, like the friar. So this is a neutral pilgrim that's an okay guy, but he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing.